kind of guy. I'm not sure if you know that I built only 48 scale jet fighters, but you may ask, since when you were studying developing this interest in building figures? I would say some long time ago. It started with this figure. I mean, this package, this kit here. Anybody know this box here? Yeah, great, right? It's some, yeah, Dragon wrote this out in about 1992. It's about 30 years ago now. At that time, it was quite an eye-opener. But what actually caught my eye is not the kit itself, but it's an illustration done by Wong. He's an artist living out in Alberta. I think he did about 90% of cross art for the Dragon model, and this is such a great example of it. I really attracted to his simple style. I used very simple brushstroke to create highlight and shadows, and usually just to capture the sense of the subject here you want to draw. But overall, the box is quite a letdown. I mean, at that time, 30 years ago, what can we expect, right? So I told myself, hey, to respect this great artist, I gotta do something for the kid. But I just simply didn't know what to do, nor do I have know-how to do it. So, well, 3 decades have gone by. If you want to know how this kid would turn out in my head, stick around until the end. We'll come back to this kid later. So before we understand how to do it, I mean, we all need to know why we want to do it. So what's wrong with stock figures? Well, when I talk about stock figures, it's something that you can just buy off the market, off the shelf. It may be just simple or plastic injection figures or some resin figures. Now, they all unfortunately suffer a little less or more resin deficiency. Sometimes you may find that the pose is too awkward, or they're not in the correct position. We'll see some examples later. There may be a lack of details. Well, sometimes it may get a repose. What is an incorrect fit? Now, for example, you want to sculpt a 1963 U.S. Army, U.S. soldier in Vietnam. Unfortunately, all the market is offering is 1973 outfit. So you want to change something, right? And sometimes there's accuracy issue, maybe the weapons incorrect, maybe the pouches, maybe what they carry at that time. Especially there's so many historians sitting in here, they can point out all the incorrectness about what the figures are. Availability, maybe what you're looking for is just simply not available in the market. And lastly, pricing. Yeah, I'm talking about resin figures. When we say that, oh, resin figure costs about $12 to $15 each. But if you want to do a diagram like that, 20, 30 figures, unfortunately, the number gets up. So this is a good example about figure conversion. In fact, scratch building may not necessarily be the answer. Sometimes you may just simply just convert figure, do a little bit conversion a little bit, and you may turn out very differently. Now in this book, Chuck and Payne, we did an example. Sorry? No, okay, Chuck and Payne did an example. So this is a metal figure. Obviously, it's out of proportion. So what he did is cut the legs off, put a metal wire in there, and stuff something up, I don't know what it is, to make it look correct proportion. So this is a very simple conversion that you can do, everybody can do, in order to make the figure look nice. I want to introduce you a Nazi modeler named Wong. He is a well-known modeler for his exquisite style, including large-scale World War II diorama. And in his book called Diorama the Profession, he has a whole section to talk about figure conversion. In fact, he himself is a big advocate of figure conversion here. His argument is that plastic figures is easy to get, readily available, it's cheap, it's easy to do conversions. You don't need to do just spend a little bit of effort in doing that, and you will turn the figure inside out. So in his book, he uses a very simple example, and his style writing is very encouraging. He shows you how to do it step by step. So this is only a capture of 50 pages. In that book, I think if you ever are interested in figuring or doing diorama, this is a must-get book. And his book is so well received in Japan, and he later on further expanded the whole series by 2 more additional books. In his last book, he spent about 50% of the volume talking about just figures itself. In 2015, I had a chance to meet him in Suzhou Show. He signed the book for me. He did not teach me anything, but I learned so much from his book. I would say that his books is like a door opener for me to step into a bigger universe. Now, scratch building sounds pretty scary, isn't it? Now, the thing is that if you do, the problem about conversion figure is that you gotta at least have one figure to work on, right? But what if you don't have a figure to work on? So at that time, when that comes, scratch building comes to play. But it sounds pretty scary. It's something not reachable. You know? To me, it was, at least to me, it was that kind of feeling in the first place. But guys, don't let that term intimidate you. I mean, it is not as hard as you think it is. All you have to do is just pay attention to several elements, and which is why we're here to talk about. I'm going to show you all these elements, and hopefully that we can quickly pick up something to start off. Now, in this presentation, I'm going to go through 5 sessions. Break down into 5 sessions. First, we're going to talk about the tools very quickly, and most important is the medium that we're going to use for sculpting figures. Second is, you can't just take a whole bunch of tools and or whatever, go build the figures. There's some preparation work you still need to go through, and hopefully I'm not going to bore you with that, but it's so essential. Then I'm going to tell you the process of completing the figure from scratch to finish. And in session 4, I'm going to walk you through the whole process with some real example. And in the last session, I'm going to say advice or tips, but just some thoughts sharing. Hopefully that can bring you some new insights, new idea.
Anthony, sorry, what was the name of the book again? Diorama?
It's called Diorama to Perfection.
Diorama to Perfection.
Yeah, I'm going to leave this presentation for you guys, and then I got the name and the publication name right there. So you can just search on the web.
There's 2 of them.
They're free.
Well, there's 3.
Wow. They're free, that's right.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah. You showed us.
There's a couple on eBay.
Oh, yeah. And by the way, these basic exchange rate is pretty.
I know. Hey guys, you love something that matters.
Now, you may say that way, it's Japanese. Well, that's, Google X, it does instant translation for you, so don't worry about that. That's how I read it too. Yeah, so the tools. I'm sorry. So I think, all these tools are not expensive. They're all pretty basic. I'm sure you're all familiar with X-Acto knife. You've been using it. Right next to it is the clay shapers. What they are is just a pan shape, but with a rubber tip. It's made of silicone and a tip there. So they can use it to shape, to square, to sculpt, or even make indentation, make whatever it is. It's pretty versatile. This is nothing more than just a painting device. It's made of metal with a very sharp tip. The paintbrush is for brushing alcohol, sometimes Vaseline. I use Vaseline too onto the putty. A nipper is needed for cutting wires, and plier is for manipulating wires. So you don't have to trace using your hands, right? So a tweezer, everybody understands what a tweezer is for. It's a very common tool used in college. Now, Vaseline, why do we need Vaseline? For a few purposes. Sometimes we don't want, this putty thing is pretty sticky. So we want to put it on our finger to prevent from sticking on our finger, and even put it on the tip of the tools. The second way I use it is as a separation agent. So sometimes sometimes I want to sculpt two parts, but the best way to sculpt is put them together so that you can just handle the length. But you want them to be separable after they're cured, so you put Vaseline in between so that they can easily detach. And you know what that is, right? I need it. You remember my boss. Now, I think the most important tool for me, okay, just for me, now you may wonder, okay, first of all, you may wonder, why do I not need a ruler or a caliper or some kind of measuring device? Well, in 35th scale, I don't, because I created this chart myself, this diagram myself. I call it the scale reference diagram. What it is just take a human figure diagram, scale it to the exact size that I want. So when I'm building, say, for example, a 35th scale, just do a comparison, measure it against the chart that I would build. So that is the easiest way, quickest way, better than just doing this precise measurement. Now, if you ask Mauricio, he's very technical. You know, he can tell you that, yeah, from 36 centimeters divided by 35 was 1 some centimeter. But I'm more just like eyeballing. So yeah, that is my measuring tool, and I happen to like it a lot. As far as the medium concerned, yeah, I think we have to pay a lot of attention to what we work on. These are all the mediums that I work with. Epoxy putty, everybody knows how the epoxy putty works. You combine the two strips together, and the moment you start to combine them, they start to harden, but it takes time to do. So you have a short window of work time. There's a product called epoxy, and there's a sister product called fix it now. These are epoxy putty, but they're not designed for modeling or any purpose. They're more industrial products. So the finishing is not as fine, but the good thing is they are of high density, bond strongly, and it's just very durable. Nail pot, I think everybody knows what a nail pot is. It works in a similar way as the 10-year epoxy putty. It comes with different color, but again, I feel that the texture is a little bit rough. This one here is, I think we're all familiar with a child play thing called a sculpey. Sculpey itself is not a putty, but it's clay. It's a polymer clay. It will not get hard until we put it in the oven bake for about 10-15 minutes, and which means we literally have infinite time to work on something. Say you're working on a figure and you get tired and you don't like the result, you want to put it down and come back in 1 month, it will still stay in the same state. It will not get harder. So that's a major advantage of sculpting. There's another good advantage. I'm going to give you an example later. And all kinds of wires that you can get from a hardware store. The ones that I work on are just 1 millimeter thickness. It's easy to cut, it's easy to bend, and it's cheap.
Yeah. How do you put sculpting in the oven and not melt your figure?
Sure, yeah. Because the figures that we're now doing is very small. So I just mount it on a piece of wood and put it into the toaster oven.
And it will not melt the figure when you're curing your sculpting?
Melt the figure?
Yeah.
No, it won't. No,
It doesn't melt?
no. The thing is, yes, there's another thing you need to watch out. Depending on the underlying layer is. If it is plastic, you cannot put sculpting on top of it. It will melt the plastic. Now, for example, you want to overlay sculpting on top of the putty is basically resin. It's a plastic, whatever structure first with plastic. So if you put it in the oven over 60 degrees Celsius, the plastic will melt. But you can do it the other way. You can put putty on top of sculpting because you no longer have to bake it. So we need to watch out these properties when working on them. Now, in this presentation, I will use exclusively only my work as an example, so that you can understand that I'm not talking nonsense. So everything I can do, I believe you can do that too.
Excuse me, Anthony, just a note. I stopped using Billy Pot because I find it really kind of grainy. I don't like it at all.
Exactly, I have the same feeling, yes.
But I really love the epoxy sculpt, which is the two products that you show on top.
Yeah.
They're first of all, they're not as porous as Milliput. They dry hard as rock, and they're very easy to shoot with water, so I love them.
Durability is one major feature that I like about epoxy putty, because after you finish it, you can paint it, you can drill it, you can sand it, you can even overlay it. You can do it whatever you want. It's just treat it as simply as so. Where would you get it?
I got it on Amazon.
Amazon.
Yeah, and they're like,
Epoxy. I bought it from a guy from a shop called
Canadian
Sculpture
Plastics.
Canadian.
Canadian Plastics, I believe. Like they're on Islington and just south of, there's some off of Islington, south of.
Yeah, that's right. He told me what that was. Isn't that Canadian Sculpture Supply?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, that's Kipling Station then.
yeah, that guy's got it. Oh, is that, what's it called then? Canadian.
Sculpture Supply.
Sculpture Supply?
It's on Munster Avenue.
On Munster.
Yes.
Munster.
You guys know it. This is well, hey, they got all this cool stuff, very cool stuff. Movie guys, use that to build popsies. Cosplay thing.
You realize, I know this is being filmed, but you realize that you were talking about street drugs, you guys know where to find all this shit.
Anthony, just for people using the polymer clay, I know that the crafters use pasta machines. Right? They're using pasta
Yeah,
machines.
they're great, they do flat surfaces.
Right, they'll roll it through, change the distance.
What about pasta?
I inherited my daughter's. I bought it for her.
No, you said that,
I
John.
wouldn't let her
Yeah,
throw it
you
away,
can
so
actually use it.
Okay, sorry.
That's all right, that's right, I'll talk about that, right? And, sure. Now, next, there are two very important attributes that we need to observe about epoxy putty. One is adhesiveness, is how sticky it is, and the other one is hardness. Now, I'll put this chart together. Look at they are in inverse relationship. The moment you put the putty together, to mix the two pieces together, it starts to lose its stickiness until the time that it becomes hardened and hardened. Now, I'm comparing three different bottles. Tamiya Smooth Type, Tamiya Quick Type, and Fix It. Now, they all have similar behavior, but they all have a different time to cure. The Tamiya Smooth Type takes about 12 hours, and the Quick Type is very fast, at about 4 hours. So you have to work time at about half an hour only. So you can only work on a small little bit. Yeah.
So this is predicated on the fact that you get the ratio perfect.
Yeah.
No, that's not necessary.
Well, close to.
Yeah, close to.
Do they, have you seen anything published on the variabilities on that? Because I've done a lot of epoxy work and I know
Right.
the worst thing to do is to add more hardener, believe it or not.
It is.
You're better off to be less than to have more.
Well, the thing is, even you put just a little bit harder, it will start harder by itself, but it will not take, it will take a little bit longer time. Now, Vince just talked to me about this before the presentation, that we can actually manipulate the ratio to get different results. Yeah. So, just like I said, the moment you mix the two pieces together, it starts to harden and you start to lose its adhesiveness. So with this quality in mind, we get a good understanding at what time we do what. So at the very beginning, we want to, at the soonest moment, that we put the putty onto something where we want to, and then we wait. Wait until it is hard a little bit because at the time it's still soft. So we wait a little bit until it's workable. I would say about an hour, half an hour to 1 hour. Then we will leave another hour to start and to shape. And then after that, as it gets harder and harder, it becomes more difficult to shape. So this is kind of a property that we need to get ourselves familiar with. There's also a very important thing that I need to do a comparison between sculpting and was a project called 360 Precision. It's about a whole bunch of modern day special forces operators. I did this in Epoxy Fight. But on the left is another project I did earlier called Aaron Boy. It's based on the movie Apocalypse Now, where the young Captain Mueller was sent on an classified mission to assassinate Colonel Kurtz. But before he had a chance to do so, he was captured, hand-tied, and sent to Kurtz's private chamber for a confrontation. Now, I did this whole thing out of just studying. Now, look at how much detail that I can achieve on Kurtz's pajama. Because the pajama is lightweight, it creates a lot of crease and folds, and I can achieve all these things with just sculpting itself. And if you look at all the details, such as inside the sleeve and just underneath the collar, the detail is just nowhere matched by honey. But the good thing just stop right here in terms of figure sculpting. It's not durable. Now, I accidentally dropped the whole piece on the floor. It just shattered, just broke into pieces. And some of the places is absolutely not repairable, such as the heels, such as the fingers. I tried to repair it using sculpting, but not successful. So with this in mind, that we can say that, yeah, it's not durable. It's giving all the fine details. Unfortunately, it's not suitable as a final product. The final product, the winner is still impossible. Now, I compare a lot of the physical qualities. If you have time, you just go read it by yourself. I'm not going to go through any details.
Are we gonna get a copy of this after?
Yeah, sure, yeah.
Yeah, can you post it?
Yep. Email it to me.
We'll post it on the website.
All right.
Thank you.
If you're okay with that, we won't time, yeah.
If you're okay with us posting.
Absolutely, yes. Now, as far as the preparation is concerned, there's two things that we need to study before we go ahead to sculpt anything. Now, this is a human body proportion. It is not the rule because everybody is different. Everybody has different bone structure. Now, if we measure the top of the head to the chin, it's 1 unit. So the perfect proportion tells us that the full body can be divided into 8 equal sections. So the middle of that, of the whole body is the approach, where the approach is. There are some rules, of course. Now, say for example, the shoulder width is approximately about 2 units wide. And there are other stuff, but so like I said, this is not a rule. This is just a recommendation to show you that how to achieve a visually appealing figure. I think movie stars, Hollywood movie stars, just like Chris Evans, Pierce Brosnan, they all possess this kind of body ratio. This is a perfect ratio. So if you follow this proportion, I'm sure you can make handsome figure. Now, as far as female is concerned, it's a little bit different. Now, obviously, female has a small thing. We have any ladies or anything. So obviously, female has a smaller thing. But some argue that instead of 8 sections, female has 7. Now, I disagree. I believe that some female do have 8 equal sections as well. Now, but my observation is female tend to have longer legs, proportional, all right? Now, another particular feature is that shoulder width is about 1.5 instead of 2 compared to male. Female has a big thigh, and also now, this is what I do differentiation. Now, if you look at the body width as compared to the joint width, male tends to have a wider shoulder, but female is more or less the same. This is a condition for laboring and reproduction purpose.
Doctor, could you come in?
Yeah, you're new, come on.
Did I get it right?
You're right.
Now, this is a side view of the human body. Keep in mind that we all have the vertebrae in a beautiful S shape, so that is very critical. Now, there are all kinds of books on the market you can get to study human anatomy and muscle layouts. And you can find a lot of material on the internet as well, for sure.
You know, just on a side note, like I like Japanese subjects, so when you look at photos of Japanese tank crew, they're small guys.
Yeah,
And you can actually see it in the pictures. You can see they're much smaller than you've got infantry guys. So like, you do have to take all these things into consideration.
No, not actually. I do not take it to Japanese as a student. I'm all very confused as a student.
Yeah, but generally the tank crews, and I have a couple of their uniforms,
Right.
because I collect them. And I have some infantry uniforms, and they're distinctively smaller. The Japanese tank crew uniforms are
The proportion is really cool, but it's not realistic.
No, I know, that's true.
Yeah.
You know, but sometimes if you're modeling something, those little details.
Yeah, the legs are about 2 foot of the body. But they're cool, I
But if
think.
you're modeling a sumo wrestler,
Well,
That's another class.
he is the taste.
Now, the other thing is, try to observe the people that's around you. I mean, people are everywhere now. I read a book about Abel's sculptures, and the author keeps saying that, yeah, in order to do good sculpture, you gotta be familiar with the subject. Go observe them, go study them. He went to the zoo probably 1,000 times in order to sculpt before he sculpted out of them. So I think it's true. I cannot agree more. So if you want to sculpt people, just look around the people around you. On the bus, you know, in subway, in restaurant, even in this room. See how people sit, walk, run, jog. And if you can, you know, just take an iPad or a tablet, just do a quick sketches. That will help you a lot in understanding how the body dynamics are. And the purpose of that is trying to train your brain to visualize how the body react in different situations. And as well, you can later on unconsciously create something out of nothing in front of you. After we study the body, I think the next thing is we got to understand clothes. Because we're not sculpting naked figures, right? Well, unless if that's just your intentions. But most of the figures we do, they wear uniform clothing. So it's pretty important to study the form as well. Now, there's something called a tension points. Tension points are origin where the forces apply onto the fabric. Tension point itself do not have force, but the force radiate outwards from the tension points. So that's why they call it, they are the original forces. Now there are 5 different types of force that I can collectively or summarize that they are most commonly used in our field, which is sculpting figures. First, if you hang a piece of cloth on a single hook, and you see lots of pipe force, because that's what it is. The force is in the pipe shape, is in the tubular pipe shapes. Six-step force is really common to see in what we call the tubular structure, right? Yeah, such as sleeves and pants. So, as the name implies, they're all divided in a 6-step fashion. Spiral force is created by, or is a result of 2 tension points, but they're not lining up very well. They're offset by a certain angle, so the fabric, as a result, the fabric is like being twisted like you twist a towel. So that's why the other forces divide in the spiral ring. That's where they get their name from. Now, if pipe flow is as a result of a single tension point, the diagonal flow is formed as a result of 2 tension points. So, for example, drapes. If you see drapes, they are all in a diagonal flows. Half-log flow is somewhere, okay, the best way to put it is half-log flow is a result of the force applying on both sides of the fabric, so the fabric crunches to itself. So it's usually in a U shape. Everybody do this, come on, everybody do this. Look at here. That is a half-off fold. That's what it is. You crunch the fabric to one side. And it usually happens at pouch at the, here, the inner side of the arm. Now, again, there are all kinds of folds about folds. It's a whole study of this class. Fashion designers do that a lot, they study a lot, they use it very frequently. Because, not in the drawings, not only they have to render style of the clothing or design, but also the texture. So the force is very critical, very important for us. It's a rule of thumb, the thicker the cloth, the more heavy the cloth, the less folds it creates. The lighter the material, the more folds. So we're going to need to know what kind of dress our soldiers wear in the field. Now this is a very excellent example of showing how fabric is being disturbed by the external and extended force. This is created by the artist called Mariana Obier. I don't know her. I just searched this from the internet. She did this on ZBrush, but look at all the folds. How do they form? Now here I identify the two tension points. Here it forms a diagonal fold. Now a tension point around here because it holds the fabric, and see how all these folds radiate over in fan form. There are lots of tension around the hip. Great tension in here, but they're not as powerful as over there.
Anthony?
Yeah.
You'll find online, there's some pretty good Italian sculptors too.
Yeah.
Just a couple, maybe.
Like, Leonardo.
In this example, it's called the project 20th Taylor Arvin. I did this again several years back. It's based on the movie The Fellowship of the Ring, which is the first movie of the Lord of the Ring franchise. In here, I sculpt 10 horses, 11 figures. And I extensively used all the fold style that I just talked about.
Wow.
Can you identify any one of them? I'm sure you can. All these red dots are the tension points. Now, remember, the diagonal force is formed by more than 2 tension points. Now, this case is no longer affected by the gravitational force, but instead, the force is created by wind, so wind force. So it flows backwards as if it is fluttering in the air. There are zigzag folds everywhere. Half log fold at the tummy, and of course, if you see the horse shape or the U shape of it. And if you are interested, take this example, go home and try to figure out what the folds they are.
Hey, Anthony.
Yeah.
You still have those?
Have not
You
the,
still have them?
have I still keep it?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
You should bring it next time. I mean, this is exceptional.
Scattered everywhere.
Yeah, that's okay. Just bring them
Who
in.
cares? It's
Okay,
exceptional.
yeah, sure, yeah.
If
I
you
can
can bring
bring
one or two.
Yeah, just bring one or two.
one or two pieces, yeah, sure.
So,
If I can still find them.
Anthony,
Yeah.
presumably you do the same thing for horse anatomy.
Yeah,
right? So,
yeah. Studying, yeah, the same way. There's no other way to do, doing animals is actually the same as doing human. It's, there's no difference. Yeah, okay, Arwen, again, now, you see the spiral fold? So the two, again, I said already today, spiral fold is created by the two tension points, however, they're all set to each other. So as a result, it's a spiral form. And there's pop log and zigzag everywhere. So the more I look at this angle, the more I want to redo Arwen again, because I think that I made it too muscular, more like
And was that epoxy putty?
epoxy putty, that's right. All the yellow part is epoxy putty. This is fix-it. Yeah, I use fix-it because it's more rigid. Well, I kind of like experimenting different thing, right? The white part is the Tamiya smooth type, which is a longer time to cure. The yellow part is the quick type. Now, I didn't do the face. I adapted the face from somewhere else. I didn't do the face. So, having said all those, this is another great illustration by Wong. He did it for Postgrad Publishing. Great figures. So if I'm going to give you a chunk of putty, can you do this? Not very possible, right? Okay, so what about if we simplify it into several geometric shapes? It's much more manageable, right? Much easier. Yeah? You do it?
Maybe.
Yeah, some shaking hands, some wrong, right? Uncertain. Okay. Now, in all fairness, we want to start something basic, right? Okay, what are this? Stick figures. Something we all managed to do during, elementary school. I'm sure we can all manage the stick figures, right? So why don't we start with stick figures first, and then work our way up to build up some volume, and then eventually add some detail to it. So essentially, this will become our process model. 1, 2, 3. First, build the armature. Second, build some volume. And third, lay out some details. That will become our desired figures that we want to build, right? So in the next session, I'm going to walk you through the whole process using whatever I just talked about. But before we do that, we're going to pick a subject. So I would think that the simplest subject to do is someone figure 35th scale, right? Can you point out some other criteria? 35th scale. Ascending pose, how's that? Ascending pose is much easier than doing kneeling pose, running pose, opposed to other actions. As I said, somebody wearing thick clothes because there's less pose to worry about. I would prefer not to do anything like holding a rifle, because in that case, we would have to adjust the angle, the arm length, distance from the body is very complicated. So without doing that, but this kit, I just placed an order in January, and it's all another dragon kit. It's a rebox of something that I made 10 years ago. But inside this new box is there are 3 chips, 8 figures, and a whole bunch of accessories. I think it's a bag for $48. So inside there's one figure here. So if you're familiar with SAS, I think you know that obviously it is Amanda Davis Sterling, right? So I think it's a perfect candidate because first it's a standing post. Well, it was originally designed as hinging on a car, but if you take it alone, stand alone, it may look a little bit awkward, but it's okay. I don't mind. So it's wearing simple clothes, not too many clothes, and I think it's a perfect candidate without holding any weapons. But before we do that, let's think about what actually can we do to improve these figures. Okay, we're doing demo sculpting, so let's do some demo sculpting. But we're going to identify some areas that we need to improve, right? So can you tell where we can improve these figures? Now, first of all, I think, to be honest, in all fairness, I think the figure itself is not too bad. But the head is too small. I think I would do the head. Secondly, is there's a piece of muscle that's missing. That is called the trapezius, which is the muscle that connects the back of the neck to the back, called the dorsal muscles. It's in a triangular shape, but it's called the trapezius. Without the trapezius here, which is right here, the body look a little short, the torso especially. The torso look a little short. Now, what else do we can do? What about the pants? The pants, obviously, the folds can be redone. The shoes are a little bit too small. So with that in mind, so we can start doing our figures now. But the thing is, David Sterling himself is the first CEO of the SAS team. He's a leader. He's a military leader. What differentiates a leader from a follower is that a leader is a man with vision. And inspiring is named follower. But I do not find that kind of quality inside this course. But on the internet, I did a search and came up with this picture or illustration. I don't know who did this, otherwise I could have given the artist the credit of using his work here. So he's got a nuclear in his hand, and standing quite straight up. So it looks like he's got a leadership quality. So why don't we just follow this to sculpt it, resculpt it. So what's the first thing to do? Stick figures, right? But, stick figures is what we do on paper. In the 3D version is called armature. So first what we're going to do is use a piece of wire, cut it about 20 centimeter long, don't need to be very long. Cross it, and in the intersection point, we use a plier to fix the position, and that will essentially form a loop at the bottom. We did it about 6 or 7 turns, and then we cut the loop in the middle. And then we straighten out all these wires. So essentially, we're building a armature, which is the skeleton of a figure. So here is the basic form of the skeleton, the figure. Now, no matter what pose you do, this is the most basic form. Then we just follow a photo reference to twist the wires into the shape that we want to. Follow the pose. Again, just like I said before, I use it to compare the reference diagram to make sure that I'm not doing any oversized or undersized. So that is what I did at the background. So the next thing is I use sculpting build-ups and body rounds. Now, you may not necessarily sculpt all the muscles. So I'm just being a little bit fussy. Now look at this. There's absolutely no details here. All I'm doing is just giving some volume to enable myself to do the next stage, which is detail. But I did pay attention to several areas though. Now first of all, I identified the collarbones. The collarbones is a very important piece of thing of the human body that helps me to visualize where the other parts are, because it tells me that's the end of the neck. It connects the ribcage to the shoulders, telling me where the shoulder is. And if you flip it the other side, I do the same thing to the blade bones, which is what I gave a weave, third weave shaped blade bones. I also check out the butts and also the calves because they will give me nice curves at the end. So, but basically, that's the vertical form in this stage. So that's step 2. And then later on, the step 3 is putting on the details because what we have right now is just make a figure. So let's get you dressed. The first thing to do, I always start with the footwear because I kind of have this layering concept. Whatever is underneath, get the skull first. Shoe is, part of the shoe is covered by pants, so let's cut the shoe first. Part of the pants is covered by uniform, so let's cut later on, let's cut the pants. Then uniform is covered by all kinds of outer garment, such as we have a plate carrier, we have a low-bearing vest, and on top of that, we have all kinds of pouches. So we do it in different steps. So here is I sculpt the way I sculpt the boots. Now, the army boots have several layers. Now there's a trick, or I don't want to use the word trick. There's a method that I use to make it look like there's different layers. So I use an exceptional knife with a score, create a score where the other layer is. Then I insert the knife briefly, slightly, and gently pick up the other layer. So make it feel as if there's more layers, but actually I'm just still working on the same layer. You understand what I'm saying? No? Okay, now, this whole piece here is one layer, right? I do not apply any more layers on top of this. Before it gets dry, I use an exceptional knife at a low angle. I push in a little bit and lift up a little bit on top of it to make it look like as if there's 2 layers. And after it finishes, I do the same thing to the heel as well. So it looks like there are multiple layers, but actually there's only one layer that I'm working on.
Can I ask you, Anthony, why do you I mean, that to me would be difficult for me, it would be very difficult to make it look realistic.
Not really, just practice.
But I would probably just use like, existing figures, cut off the boots and the hands and,
You can do that too, but just like we look at, right? What's too small, we cannot use it, we cannot salvage it. Unless you are sacrificing another figure, cut off the boots to do it. But in some cases, the good thing is, our neighbors do not change a lot since 100 years ago. They're all basically, the basic form is still there. That is the advantage, that's the good news. But the bad news is, when you look at the present army, they all wear hiking boots. And the shape is very different from each other, the conventional army boots. Yes, it is.
In the case of those undersized boots, would you not use them as a starting point and
I can, yeah.
a layer,
Right.
layer to sort of build it up by another?
Sure, yeah, same concept in here. If you look at the previous diagram, here, this is essentially what I did, but I did not just use the original boots. I sculpted myself. I used it as a basic form, and on top of that, I would overlay honey. Yep, good point.
hey, sorry, have you ever done casting so that you can, no,
I know the basic, but I just don't have the know-how. Yeah, you can reproduce it as many as you want to, sort of save it for later, so that you don't have to read it with it again. Yeah, good point too, but I just don't have the know-how. Yep.
Now, I don't know how many people, you guys probably put this, but I recently bought a 3D scanner.
Yeah.
And I'm beginning to play with it. And so I thought, I haven't used it yet, but technically, maybe take a figure, take the scanner, maybe I can take one of yours and try it. And see if I can replicate that through 3D printer by scanning the form. Do you know that's an option?
This takes up another discussion, which is, hand sculpting figures, you may argue that in every, your type is bound for extinction. Nobody do this anymore. Everybody's moving on to digital platform, 3D printing. Okay. No. Yes, excellent idea if you can do that, but regardless of what you have in your hand, whether it's a sculpting tool or a mouse, you still need to go through the basic understanding of body, shapes, folds, everything, all the stuff. You get onto ZBrush or Fusion 360, Blender, or you get just a piece of
And then you get into the problems of copyright, right? If you do like your figure and somebody, scans it, then it's really viable. No, really, it's true, right? Because a lot of the figure competitions now,
Right.
they will demand that you show proof, like Chicago.
Yeah, or originality.
Yeah, that it's bought from the original producer, and
Right.
not a recipe.
True too, that's right, yeah. But this is beyond our
Yeah, yeah.
discussion today, yeah. How am I doing time?
Yeah, just keep going, it's great.
Keep going, right? You guys find it okay?
Yeah.
All right, yeah. So the next, before I put on the pants, I insert the head onto it. Now, this is another example why I say that sculpting is not durable. Okay, yeah, there's one more thing I want to talk about. Now, up to this point, you can say that, you may ask, from this Y to here, how does it be? I guess it's no more than 1.5 hours. Because of the use of sculpting. Remember that sculpting is a different quality than honey. It dries very fast. All I have to do is just put it in the oven. So what I did is just twist the figure to twist wires, put the sculpting on, put it in the oven. In just 1 hour, I can come up with a solid figure that will work. So that's the major advantage. That's why I said we use them differently. It's not to use them, but use them differently. So right here, it proves it another, my argument that the sculpting is not durable. Because when I was inserting the head onto it, this is the original kit. The head, I think what we use the head. When I was inserting into it, it broke. The whole piece just broke. So I just used honey to fix it. Also with that. So the way I did it, this can see is that I roll out, using a roller. To me, it's just a pen, right? I don't have a pass roller. I don't have that. So I just roll it out using my pen, and then roll it with a thin sheet, wrap it around. So until I get the full volume here. Now, at this point, do not rush into doing folds. I mean, you can't do it without get an overall good of how it looks like. At this point, all you have to do is just make sure that the pants is in the right shape. And then smooth it out, make sure as possible. Sometimes, I found that the best tool that I have is just my finger, because I can feel the putty. I can feel where the lump is, where the sand is. So I make sure that everywhere is equally distributed. So I use my finger to feel it everywhere. I use my sense. And then we just cut off the necessary part and one part.
Are you using water?
Yeah, water, that's right. Water to smooth it out, yeah. Well, I can use water, I can use gasoline, whatever it is convenient. But if you use gasoline, make sure that you use a little bit alcohol to clean it up. Otherwise, it will not stick, will not come out with another layer. And then, I analyze the figure to try to figure out where the tension points are, how the force at the bottom. I make leaf marks, not permanent mark. And after I'm happy with the whole figure, the whole pants, I use paint device to permanently create all these folds. And finally, I use a X-Acto knife to craft out the seam. I think the seam is pretty important. To me, it's just important. Look more like it. Before I put on the coat, I put on the collar first. Remember the layering part of the concept, right? The collar, the way I did it is I used a strip of epoxy putty, wrapped it around the neck, and then I use my tool, press down the root of the putty on the shoulder. Then wait for about an hour until it becomes a little bit hard. Then I start to use my knife to craft out all the details. Then after that, set it dry. Don't do anything. And then after it's cured, on top of it, sand deal, overlay with the putty. Make sure that everywhere is equally distributed and cut off the unnecessary part. Then just craft out all these details using your tools.
Hey Anthony, can you speed up the drying time of the two-part epoxy in the oven?
I don't think so. Yeah, I mean, that's the fastest we can go. Yeah, 4 hours. But sometimes I feel that it's too fast. I really want to slow down a little bit. Hopefully that I can have a better window, but doesn't matter how much I put in there, I still get it wrong. Unfortunately, it's not too much that they can do it. So, in order to work around that is to not to do too many things at one time. Do a little bit, one part until it's pure and move on to the next part. Now the hand, I have to say, is a little bit advanced, a little bit difficult to do. Because, the hands are so complex, only the 5 fingers, there are 14 bones, and also all the muscles associated with the palms. It's very dynamic. So usually I find it easy to do the fingers is when it's holding something, when the finger is holding something. In this case, I find the binoculars are from another box all over it. I drill the hole, attach it to the armature, and start carefully sculpting the fingers. For the hands, also multiple steps, don't rush it. First, go to base for base, and then cover it up with the canopy. Now, the visor also, I roll it out with a thin layer and attach to the base. Now, you may not get a perfect shape. You can use a scissor to cut it in shape, but don't really rush into it because don't forget that putty allows you to sand. So after it's cured, you can use the sandpaper to sand it smooth and or into the curve that you want to. So don't rush it. And then after everything is done, finally, the final touch is adding all the details, such as the fastener, the button, the pocket, and use a knife to cut out all the seams in the pocket, all the details. And then it's done. So does it have well, you're the leader, but I mean, it's for you to judge.
You make it look so easy. You make it look so easy.
It's not, I mean,
You're an artist. Hey, you're an artist. You're cheating, you're an artist.
Did you use the head? Is it from the?
yeah, that's right, the head is from the boss itself, the water. Now, there's some thought sharing that I would like to share with you, just my some experience, hoping that get you to avoid some of the potential pitfalls, or and also to get some good idea. Now, first of all, do not scratch build unless it is necessary. Now, when I was doing the cross angle mix blend, I only sculpt the figure itself. I did not sculpt the rifle, the respirator, the canteen, or the head, the helmet, because it's beautifully done already. You just need to adapt. You just need to use it. Why bother to waste your time to invent the fifth wheel again, right? So don't do that unless it's really necessary. But I did sculpt the backpack though, because if you look at the diagram at this angle, the most visible part is the backpack. And the original kit, the original part of the kit no longer fit onto my figure. So I had to redo it. And I have to make sure that I do the work of the backpack. In fact, there are a lot of aftermarket stuff you can buy. There's a company called Life Dressing from Russia. They make all kinds of weapons, 3D printed pouches, all kinds of things for this purpose. And there's a UK company called Hornet. Oh, they make beautiful replacement heads. That is the company for me. It's my go-to. Second is use reference photos. I did this, I call it Charlie Don't Surf. It's based on the Hopkins now Colonel King War. I used that as a reference to do this figure. Now, where do you get the source from? There are all kinds. You can use life models. You can have somebody pose for you, so you can just take pictures all around. Movie screenshot. The reason why I like to do movie screenshots is because if I like anything I see, I just pause it, do a screen capture, and I get a very good photo reference in front of me. You can also find photos from archives, documentaries, box art. Now this is where Dragon excels, because not from the back of each box, not only it gives you the front view, but also the back view, so you don't have to struggle. Third thing is be patient. Don't rush the work. Just like I said, honey takes time to cure. You have to make sure that it's completely cured before you move on to the next part. Otherwise, you might accidentally ruin something that you've already done. Okay, the fourth one is play the role of the character. Try to put yourself into the shoes of the character you're building. I mean, great actors do that all the time. They spend considerable amount of time to study the characters they're able to play, so that they immerse themselves into playing the role. That's how they excel in performance. I think we would like to work a similar idea, which is to think about the characters you're building. Okay, maybe I'm not that far, not too far, right? Okay, what I'm trying to say is, okay, let's do this together. Do not build figures. Build characters that have emotion, characters that have personality, and characters that have, can speak body language. So that's my hopefully you can treat that as a thing. Now, I said I will come back to this box again, right? So 3 decades after, how did I turn it out? Wow. So this is the final result of a diagram. It's only a part of the diagram that I'm playing right now. I'm going to do 2 parts. Also, 2 worlds separated by 1 wall. On the outside of the wall is a team of special forces operators about to breach. And inside the wall is maybe probably a group of hostages being held by a group of insurgents. So far, I just only finished the figures using based on this idea. So let's dive into each individual figures. I've only got the 4 more slides to go. I'm sorry. I took my liberty to change the original drawing a little bit instead of changing that. I think at that particular moment, holding a pistol maybe getting to action is more, that makes more sense. So this is the main pose of that figure. This is my favorite figure because it's a very powerful pose. You know, when somebody is in this position ready to keep firing, you should expect a burst of fire next minute. So this happened to be my favorite pose. This one, the original drawing, had the guy put it away on the right leg, but I want him to lean forward a little bit. So instead of putting him on the left leg, the right leg, I put him on the left leg. And finally, this guy is on the left side of the door. I think it makes more sense to change the shooting hands from right to left. So it's to go to the left, so it makes more easier for him to do this tactical movement. And to balance the appearance, I have him to sling a Remington shotgun on his left shoulder, so it looks kind of like more balanced. So this is the power of stretch moving figures. You see anything you don't like, or you want to change something, only the sky's the limit. Imagine that you can create your own unique figures. Well, I've done a lot of talking, I guess. I can open up the floor for any questions or any constructive comments you may have.
Why don't we see you more at shows?
Yeah.
Stuff is incredible.
Was that your first Heritage Con?
Why don't we see you more at shows?
Yeah,
Yeah.
your stuff's amazing.
It's just incredible.
Yeah, I've seen your jets, but this.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, just like I said, I spend, only 5 to 10% of my modeling time in figure. Most of the time I just spend in jets or non-productive.
When you're doing the folds,
Yeah.
like, do you use different tools from a toothpick to a different?
No, all the tools that I'm showing you.
Really?
Right, yeah. Yeah. So it's pretty economical. I mean, you can buy them individually, or it comes in a bundle of different shapes. On Amazon, it costs about $15 to get a whole big set of it. So it's pretty cheap, pretty economical, very affordable. Right?
If you ever watch Bill Warren,
Yeah,
use a toothpick,
yeah.
rolls, licks, rolls, and you're thinking, I don't know if that epoxy putty in your mouth. I told him, he's
Yeah, I
still
don't think
alive
it works
now.
Yeah, I do that too. Now, the reason for that is I found that saliva is this very special chemical that melts the epoxy putty a little bit to make it even more smoother. Yeah, that's what I found. Yeah, it's not totally out of convenience. I mean, licking it and rubbing it is pretty convenient. But it's actually a chemical reaction with my saliva. So I do that. But using the toothpick, the drawback about the toothpick is because its texture is made of bamboo. No, it's texture. That's why I use the marrow pin.
Just a fair bit of cyano on
Yeah.
it, which makes it effectively like plastic.
Yep.
That way nothing's really gonna stick to it, takes away the texture. I was thinking you could use another fluid, but not.
I'm sure, yeah. After you get into this, you may even invent your own tool. I mean, tool is really personal. What works out for you may not work out for me.
Yeah. Can you tell me when the tap is?
All right. Fabulous.
Thank you.